right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to go through a company called Marathon Digital Holdings, stock ticker MARA. Marathon is a Bitcoin miner. We cover the Bitcoin miners quite a bit on this channel, so if that is content that you are interested in, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And of course, if you like this video, please do us a favor and smash the like button and feel free to drop a comment below. All right, today I want to look at Marathon because on Friday they put out their January 2022 operations and mining update. And there are some very, very interesting things in there. Some stuff that took me by surprise a little bit, actually. So I really want to dig through that and talk about those things, show you what's going on with Marathon. And then after we go through the press release, we'll take a look at their chart and talk some price action. Okay, February 4th, so this was Friday, Marathon Digital Holding announces Bitcoin production and mining operation updates for January 2022. January Bitcoin production increased 816% year over year as total Bitcoin holdings increased to 8,595. So they're holding 8,595 Bitcoin on their balance sheet as of January 31st, 2021. So that is a huge number. I think that's the largest number out of all the publicly traded Bitcoin miners in North America. However, about 4,000 of those they bought about a year ago. So they are not all self-mined, but they are all sitting on the balance sheet. Okay, corporate highlights as of February 1st, 2021. Produced 462.1 self-mined Bitcoin during January 2022, an 816% increase from the 50.4 self-mined Bitcoin in January of 2021. I don't so much like to look at year over year for a company like this because a year ago they had just started mining Bitcoin. They had almost no machines. You see, they mined 50 Bitcoin. Later we'll take a look at what their hash rate was, but they were just getting going. So it's not really apples to apples. I like to look at month over month because I think that gives a much better insight as to how the progression of these mining companies are going. Increased total Bitcoin holdings to approximately 8,595. We talked about that with an approximate fair value of $330 million. And as you guys know, Bitcoin just went up in the last week about $10,000 or $11,000 at the moment. So actually the real value of those Bitcoins has increased dramatically. Cash on hand was approximately $189.1 million, and total liquidity defined as cash and Bitcoin holdings was approximately $519 million. So they have over $500,000. So that is a very strong balance sheet. They raised $650 million in November, so you can see they have $189 million left, which means they spent most of that, but I think you're going to see it is because they are amassing an incredible amount of machines. So that leads to the next bullet point. Received approximately 21,000 top-tier ASIC miners from Bitmain during the month of January. 21,000 during the month. That represents most companies' entire fleet. So that is a massive, massive delivery. The existing mining fleet consists of 32,710 active miners producing approximately 3.6 exahash. So of all the miners that they have, 32,710 of them are actively mining. That equals 3.6 exahash. So that is very close to where Riot was. And Riot and Marathon used to rival for first place, but now we have Core Scientific, stock ticker CORZ, which is actually much bigger at the moment than both of these guys. They mined more than twice as many Bitcoin as Marathon or Riot. They mined more Bitcoin than both of them put together in the month of January. Okay, then they have a little chart here, production by month. So this goes back to last January. So you can see, I think it wasn't until May or June that they got themselves somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 exahash. So on the same graph, they also have the total Bitcoin network hash rate. This is the worldwide hash rate, which directly correlates to the difficulty level adjustments that happen to Bitcoin mining. So that peaked here in May, and then it crashed way down into, like, I think somewhere around 90. So and that was due to basically all of the Bitcoin miners in China being turned off in a very short period of time. You can see since then it's pretty much been a straight line up. We're now at a new all-time high, somewhere around 190 exahash. So they are 3.6 exahash of what is right now a worldwide 190 exahash. However, they have plans to get much, much larger than that. So I'm going to show you a chart of their planned growth. Okay, so this is a chart of their previous growth and their planned growth. The lines in black represent what's actually occurred. The lines in light blue are what they anticipate. This chart is a little small, so I'm going to read some of these to you so we can make sense out of them. So this goes back to January 2021. You'll see they were very close to 0 exahash at that point, which is why the January 22 versus January 21 comparison is not very meaningful to me, right? They had just started. They had almost no exahash at all. They didn't really start to have a sizable amount of exahash until here in May, June, July. It looked like they crept up to about 2.0 exahash. They're now at 3.6 if we fast forward all the way to January. So they have big plans for the rest of the year. So and as you can see, this was quite a journey to get. I think they were at 0.2 exahash and now they're at 3.6. So that took them a year. They plan to get to 13.3 exahash by the middle of this year. I think that's going to be a little bit delayed, but we will see. So 13.3 exahash by the middle of this year. So they plan on adding another almost 10 exahash over the next 6 months. And you can see 3.5 exahash took them all year last year, and it was a very bumpy road. So it's a lofty goal, but you're going to see there's something in this press release that shows us that they may very well be able to do that. They then have further purchase orders to get to 23.3 exahash, which they hope to do early in 2023, they're saying, so maybe first quarter of 2023. They just got to 3.6 exahash right now, so that would represent almost a 6.5x in the amount of exahash. That's all expected to be implemented sometime in the next 1 year. So you can see their growth plans are monstrous, which leads me to my big point in this press release. Okay, they have a section here, miner installations and hash rate growth. As of February 1st, 2022, Bitmain had delivered approximately 93,000 top-tier Bitcoin miners to Marathon. 32,710 of these miners have been successfully deployed, and we looked at that. So that's their current fleet is 32,710. That's an exahash of 3.6. They have a total of 93,000 machines, which means they are sitting on 60,000 new Bitmain machines that have been delivered that are yet to be hooked up and activated. So there's good news, bad news there. The good news is, the next 60,000 machines, they don't have to worry about supply chain issues and deliveries and all that kind of stuff. They have those machines right now, according to this. So that's enough machines to get them up over 10 exahash that they already own and are in possession of. Right now, it's a matter of building out the facilities that can house them and getting them installed and up and running. So their critical path is not delivery of machines like a lot of the other miners. It's actually getting the infrastructure in place to house and run these machines. While construction of Compute North's new facility, which are predominantly behind the meter at wind and solar farms and include 280 megawatts, so that's enough to run all the machines that they have sitting there, remains underway. Marathon has begun populating containers with miners to prepare for energization. Based on current schedules, Marathon expects deployment of miners at Compute North's new facilities to accelerate in the first quarter of 2022 and continue through the rest of the year. So this is the first quarter of 2022. The first month of that is done. So they're saying they're going to accelerate that in the first quarter, which means they do expect to install some in February and March. And then obviously they're not going to get all 60,000 of those installed by any means, I wouldn't imagine, in those 2 months. So those will be coming over the months to come. This is going to change Marathon's equation because, as we know, Marathon actually runs their own pool. So if they could get their exahash up to or around 10, they're going to become a sizable enough pool to start taking some of the luck out of the equation and getting more of their fair share of the Bitcoin on a going forward basis. And then obviously, those are just the machines they have already on hand that get them to 10 exahash. They've already purchase ordered machines up to 23.3 exahash. So there's a lot more machines on the way. So Marathon, as you can see, with those plans, they are going to continue to compete for being one of the largest Bitcoin miners in North America. So Core Scientific is currently producing a lot more Bitcoin than they are, and they have growth plans as well, but Marathon should be very competitive, if not past Core Scientific, if they're able to properly execute all of their plans operationally. Riot, I believe, has plans to get up to 12.8 exahash by the end of 2022, and there are several new Bitcoin miners that are now publicly traded that are either mining very little or no Bitcoin right now that have 15 to 20 exahash by the end of 22 or 2023. So those companies have a long way to go. You can see Marathon's a classic example. This first year of getting up and running is very difficult. Although they had already ordered 93,000 machines back in January of last year, it took them all year to get to 3.6 exahash, and that's a part of the learning curve. So here they say Marathon continues to expect all of its purchase miners to be deployed by early 2023, at which point the company's mining operations are expected to consist of approximately 199,000 Bitcoin miners, producing approximately 23.3 exahash, making Marathon one of the largest known publicly traded Bitcoin miners in the world. I want to show you a few numbers real quickly, and then let's go take a look at their chart. As of yesterday, Marathon closed the day at $25.58. That was up 8.78%. So that was a good day. The Friday before that was a very good day. Bitcoin's been on a really nice run lately. So that brings them to a market cap of $2.62 billion. This is a schedule of Marathon's market cap over the last 12 months. So you can see way back in April, when they weren't even at 2 exahash yet, they had a market cap of $5.63 billion. Bitcoin then went into a bit of a slump, as did all the miners along with them. This put Marathon down just about to where they are right now, in the low $2 billion range. However, you'll see they peaked again at the beginning of September at $4.3 billion, and then they peaked again in November at Bitcoin's all-time high of 69,000. This was a $7.67 billion market cap company. So since then, obviously the price of Bitcoin has gone down, but they now have 90,000 plus miners on hand, 32,000 up and running. They've made a lot of progress, and there's a lot of progress yet to come, yet they're back down in the $2.5 billion range. So that is 1/3 of what their market cap was just 3 months ago. So let's look at the chart and see what that means. Okay, here they are trading right now at $25.59. As Bitcoin reached its all-time high, Marathon simultaneously reached its all-time high. Now, a lot of the Bitcoin miners did not get back to their all-time high when Bitcoin hit its all-time high on November 10th. Marathon actually did. They blew way past their previous all-time high, which was this yellow line at around $57.74. So if Marathon were to get back to its price that it was trading at just prior to the flash crash, that would represent a 93% increase in the price of their stock. So with Bitcoin getting healthy, if that run can continue, Bitcoin's not really that far away from where it was pre-flash crash. So I think this is a very reasonable, maybe mid-second quarter price target. And also it will depend on how much of their facilities they can finish, how many of those machines they can get up and running, what their exahash is at that point, right? Because they're at 3.6 right now. At some point sooner than later, it looks like they're going to be at 10. I would expect them to not only reach this goal, but exceed it. All right, I'm going to look at one more number, and this seems outrageous. To get back to their all-time high, which was just a little over 3 months ago, again, this was November 9th, that would be a 227% increase in their stock price. So I hate to make price targets that are so far away from the current price that this is trading at. But with these Bitcoin miners, things are a little different, because this is not some theoretical number. They were trading at this number, 3 months ago. And at that time, they were a 2.5 exahash miner. And shortly, they're going to be somewhere around a 10 exahash miner. So they're going to be 4 times as big. I don't think it's unrealistic to think that they could get back to their previous highs as a company. That's further out there, and for me, I'm going to use that as more of an end-of-the-year target if Marathon and Bitcoin are both able to execute for the rest of the year. But again, that's a 227% increase, so that would be a monumental jump in the stock price from where it is right now. So that's all I've got on Marathon today. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.